Hello, good morning, good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining Datamatics First LinkedIn Live. My name is Sachin Rane. I look after the IT solutions business globally for Datamatics. Overall, 31 years of experience and with Datamatics for last 10 plus years. So today I'm going to talk about what are the DevOps trends for 2022. So Datamatics is the leading company in IT and BPM solutions, delivering successful engagements for our clients worldwide. Uh, and as part of IT solutions, we have a practice which focuses on various IT solutions for our customer. That's what I am responsible for. And as part of my portfolio, one of the practices that we have, which is in the area of DevOps. So today I thought of sharing some of our learnings and what we see, what's happening in this happening space, which is called DevOps. So I thought, it's good opportunity, good platform for us to share our learnings with all of you. We what we see as what's perhaps happening in this exciting space of DevOps in coming times. So we just talk about some of the trends for 2022. So once again, thank you for investing time with us, and I'm sure I will make justice to your time. So let me start explaining you about the concept DevOps. I'm sure many of you, maybe all of you, are aware of what DevOps is. But my idea is here is to just recap, revisit, and make it more simplified so that even today we get asked questions. Even I get asked questions that Sachin, tell me what DevOps is actually. Is it a tool? Is it a technology? Is it a framework? What exactly it is? So let me explain this in a very, very simplistic term here. So assume that in a typical organization, there are at least two teams, which is one development team and one operations team. What is the job of development team? They are the ones who basically develop software. They are the ones which basically release the software for meant for the customers, customers. Which means what I mean by that is the company that they work for. There are customers they are serving. So the software is meant for their customers. So the development team develops software, makes releases, and the operation teams runs the production. So basically, there is a handshake typically happens between development and operations teams. So very often that even I have seen that there is a danger that these two teams work in silos and there is a communication breakdown. So in a typical organization, assume that this is a development team and this is the operations team. So development team objective is to develop software and keep working, enhancing that software, make releases, and then pass it on to the operations team. Now, DevOps is a philosophy. The philosophy by which both the teams can work with each other, which means that the development team, once they have their releases ready, they pass it on to the operations team. Right now, operations team then puts it onto production. Now, in production, obviously, there are some observations that they make. When they make observations, they have to inform the development team as to how their product is behaving in production. So that means that feedback comes back to the development team. So now you see that both the teams are in sync. Colors have become uniform. And that precisely what DevOps achieves. The communication and collaboration, right? And that's the develop DevOps is all about. It's a set of tools and philosophy that allows both the development team and operations team, DevOps, both the development and operations team to work together harmoniously, and that's DevOps, right? Now, why do I need to have DevOps in my organization? It's very simple. Basically, when you develop software, uh, all you need to do is, today we have changing world. So there are new customer demands coming in. So which means that you have to make constant changes and rapid changes to your your software. So you can't be saying that I will take another month to release with a new feature. Your competition may as well do it in maybe week, within a week. So how do you do that? How do you achieve that agility? How do you achieve that the rapid uh, speed? That's possible only when both the teams are working collaboratively to each other, and that is basically DevOps makes uh, achieve. That's basically continuous integration, continuous development. So you will perhaps heard the word which is CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous development. Basically, what it means is you are developing software, building the software, deploying the software, testing the software, putting in production, getting the feedback, making changes, again making releases. So the cycle continues. So basically, it's continuous integration, continuous development, and that basically helps an organization to achieve that agility that is required for businesses to survive, because it's very fast, rapidly changing environment. So that is precisely what DevOps is all about. So having said, having established what is DevOps, why it is required, what are the benefit, let me now go to the trends that basically the topic of the day. So allow me to pop up my presentation. Okay, so these are top what we're going to cover in next maybe 15 minutes or so. Top DevOps trends for 2022. Uh, Let me begin with the first trend. So what we see earlier, we saw that in DevOps there are two teams which we have dealt with: development and operations. Now, with coming times, what you're going to see is the business teams also going to get aligned with the development and operations teams, which means there will be synchronization between business, development, and operations, so that the the communication becomes more stronger. The business requirements get aligned to the development, and development team understand the business requirements very fast, and then they can turn around the software and put it back to the operations team. Operation teams can give feedback. So all three teams are working in sync. So this is already called DevOps 2.0, the next version of DevOps. We already seeing this is happening. We low code no code platform, for example, like Salesforce, which allows rapid development, rapid application development platforms. So that is basically allowing business development operations team coherently to work with each other, and that we see as the first trend, that this DevOps will become which where business development operations teams will come together. The second one, which is infrastructure automation. So typically, in when you want to provision infrastructure in an organization, there is a manual intervention typically which is required, which means that assume that you need additional server, assume that you need additional memory. You need to approach your infrastructure team, and then they provision that required infrastructure. Imagine that if you can achieve the same by a piece of code, and that is basically called infrastructure as a code, IAC. You'll hear this term IAC more and more going forward. So infrastructure as a code allows you to manage this infrastructure provisioning through a piece of code. There are popular tools like Ansible, AWS Cloud Formation, etc. So these tools allow you to provision infrastructure as code, and that basically helps in automating the infrastructure. See, all that we again, we are driving to the basic principle of having what we're trying to achieve is a agility. All that we're trying to achieve is the speed, and that's exactly you can see that all the trends are driving towards collaboration and ability to work together and work faster, the pace. So infrastructure automation, infrastructure as a code, that is the term that will become popular in 2022. Microservices architecture, I think this is already in the thing which is happening. Microservice architecture is nothing but application of collective uh, of loosely coupled services. So advantage here is that uh, when you break down the small, complex problem into small set of uh, issues, you can address them better, and that exactly is even in the microservice architecture. When you break it down in a small piece of manageable uh, set of units, a manageable set of services, you can effectively work with them with a faster speed. You can achieve parallelism, and that's microservices architecture will become more popular. It's already popular now, it will gain more popular with coming times. So that's a trend that we see, which is trend number 3. Trend number 4, which is DevSecOps. What we mean by that is typically security. When a developer develops an application, security is not on his mind or her mind. So now organizations want security to be part of thinking process of a developer. So again, DevSecOps is development, security, and operations combined together. So DevSecOps takes a very agile approach to security. It breaks down the security task into incremental improvements, which a developer start thinking right from the beginning. So security. Then it's not that a developer develops complete software. Now start thinking of security. How do I ensure that the security tasks are taken care of? It's actually a part of entire development process right at the beginning. So DevSecOps takes an agile approach for security and gets a part of a development process right from the beginning. So there's a tight integration between development, security, and operations team. Datamatics, a lot of our customers are already implementing DevSecOps, and this is already popular with several of our customers. Uh, and we see that this trend is going to continue in 2022 as well. Moving on, GTOps. Now, GTOps allows you to have basically a developer can carry out jobs which are typically fall in the domain of operations team. Now, GIT is basically, I'm sure some of you heard a word called GIT Hub and GIT. So, GIT is nothing but a source code control system, and GIT Hub is basically an hosting, web-based hosting facility for hosting all your JITs, GITs. So GIT ops is nothing but GIT will become integral part of your DevOps implementation, which allows you to have continuous integration with source code control system, becoming one version of kind of truth. So that's basically GIT, and GIT ops will likely become a norm in coming times in 2022. That's my trade number 5. Trend number 6, chaos engineering. Now, this actually a very interesting background of this. This was earlier coined in 2011 when Netflix was moving their hardware to cloud. They wanted to ensure that the resilience of the entire infrastructure, including application, is tested to the limit, so that when their fault happens in the actual production, you are only prepared for it. What I mean by that is you actually are inducing chaos in your application and infrastructure, uh, and then testing your infrastructure, testing your application to the limit. Let's take an example. Suppose your servers, what happens? Your server hard disk gets full. How will application behave? How will the application respond? Is the application resilient enough to withstand that state? And all that get tested as part of chaos engineering. So there are tools available. So Amazon Web Services fault injection simulator. This is just one of the tool which is popular tool. allows you to inject the such faults and then test your application and infrastructure to the limit, so that you know how it will behave in actual scenario when the fault happens. And that's basically a chaos engineering, which is trend number 6. Trend number 7, predictive analytics. All of us have heard terms which is artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data. Big data is nothing but it allows you to handle massive data. Now, what is the benefit of artificial intelligence and machine learning? It allows you to throw some patterns. It allows you to learn your data. It allows you to look at predictions. It allows you to create some prescriptive analytics. How it is linked with my operations? Imagine if I tell you that in next 3 months you can expect certain failures basis. These are the hypotheses that I have considered, and it is likely this kind of failures are likely to occur. If I tell you that, if I predict your operations failures, you are better prepared. And that is operations teams get immensely benefited if I get this predictions right, well in advance, so that I can plan my activities. So AI, big data, machine learning, all these technologies are going to play a very pivotal role, very important role in ensuring my operations are benefited. My fault detection becomes more stronger, and my response to all this untoward situations can be much better. And that's basically predictive analytics going to help me in my DevOps. And that's a trend that we see happening in next year. People have already started, some of our customers already started doing that now itself. Well, trend number 8 is engineers as decision makers. What I mean by that is, we have seen that there's a lot of automation which is happening. We have seen that there's a lot of data which is there. There's a lot of analysis. There are technologies like big data, technologies like AI. Uh, they are available at the disposal of a developer or engineers. So engineers today are in much better position to take informed decisions, and that is exactly, uh, we are going to see a trend that they are going to take a very informed decisions, not ad hoc decisions, and basis the data, basis the uh, trends, basis the knowledge that they gather with all these mediums that are available to at their disposal. They are going to become more empowered decision makers. So what happens is, when they are taking decision faster, automatically is, you don't have to depend on a hierarchy to drive decisions. So again, you can see that all one principle which is driving the entire thing, which is agility. So you are basically taking decisions faster, taking decisions which are more accurate, and that is because of all the technology which is available at your disposal. No ops, and this is the last trend which we see for 2022. No ops starts to become reality. No ops stands for no operations. We have seen that automation. We have heard terms called hyper automation. I call hyper automation like automation to the max possible. But with that possible in my operations, yes, it is starting to become a reality, because the automation is happening across entire IT landscape. So IT environment will become so automated that we don't need a dedicated team to manage software in-house, and that day is going to come. We thought robotic process automation a few years ago. Perhaps it's not going to work, but today in the reality, it in fact has helped many organizations to automate several normal routine tasks. So the day is going to come where the automation is going to reach a state where IT environment will become so automated that you don't need a dedicated team to manage the software in-house, and that's a trend that we'll start to see in some seats in 2022, and then this is going to go grow in times to come. So, in nutshell, in summary, nine trends that we have seen. Let me summarize for you: rise of business DevOps, second, infrastructure automation, third, rise in popularity of microservices architecture, fourth, DevSecOps will become a default part of DevOps, fifth, GitOps is likely to become a kind of norm, sixth, chaos engineering, seventh, predictive analytics in DevOps and AIOps, eighth, engineers are decision makers, and nine, no ops starts to become reality. So these are the nine trends I thought it's good opportunity for me to share with you. Before I conclude, I think let me just summarize the benefits of DevOps here. You are having a reliability, you get increased reliability, you have security which is taken care of, rapid delivery, the scale, the speed, collaboration. We've seen this. I demonstrated that with an example. I think these are the benefits that an organization going to see with the DevOps, and we already seeing that in reality with some of our customers. So before I conclude, I think let me give you a piece of statistics here. So as per the Global Industry Incorporation data, global DevOps market is like to reach to 17.8 billion by 2026 with a CAGR of roughly 20%. So that's why I am confident that I'm making a statement here. DevOps is here to stay and will be well adopted in 2022. And the adoption is only going to grow up because the statistics are backing up my claim here. With this, let me come to an end to my what I have to share. Thank you so much for your time. And my email sachin.rane, sachin.rane at datamatics.com. My mobile number. In case you have any doubts, please feel free to reach to me. And I can take a couple of questions now in case there are any. So there is a question I'm seeing. Can you give some examples of DevOps tools? Yes, I can. Let me just show it here. I knew that this question will come. So see, at different stages of DevOps life cycle, whether it's coding or planning or release or deploy, monitoring. So a lot of questions being asked at to me at different point of times. What are tools which are popular tools now? Obviously, DevOps is becoming popular as a platform, as a within cloud as a platform. So you can see tools like Jenkins for release management. You can see a tool like Jira for coding. You can see JIT. I spoke about JIT as a source code control. So during coding, JIT is another popular tool. So there are several tools, Selenium for testing. You see, these are the tools which are popular in DevOps, which obviously available to you. Some of them are open source, some of them are licensed. Hope I answered the question. Thank you. So another question which is coming is: are there any certification programs of DevOps? Yes, there are certification programs. Popular ones are from AWS and from Azure. So these are two certification programs. Azure develop DevOps engineers. Even AWS has a DevOps certification program. You can take any of them. Both are excellent courses, excellent certifications. Thank you. Some depth in, so there's some question, some depth in ops. So AI ops is basically uh, combining your artificial intelligence with DevOps, which means AI typically allows you to uh, bring out patterns, and that is possible with the numerous techniques which are available in artificial intelligence, which is obviously a topic in itself. So how does it help? It helps in operations, for example. So if I look at your past historical data of all your uh, system behaviors or operational behaviors, and I know, and then try to derive some patterns, try to derive some correlations. So that is possible with AI, with which I can clearly bring out some of the hypothesis, clearly bring out some predictive analytics, clearly bring out some prescriptive analytics, and that is basically AI ops, AI and operations. So next question is, how can we involve a customer in DevOps? So yes, there are two ways to involve a customer in DevOps. One is direct, and second is indirect. Uh, so direct involvement is like a beta release. Suppose we get several softwares for beta release, which is available for limited set of customers, where a customer can give feedback for a product. That's a beta release. That's a direct involvement of a customer. And indirect in way is basically there are tools or techniques like telemetry and analytics, hypothesis driven development. So these are the ones which are where you involve a customer indirectly. So lot of popular platforms like Amazon or Netflix, they use such techniques. Thank you. So another question which is coming up is, can you give us idea of how does chaos engineering and DevOps integrate? Chaos engineering, as I think I covered, in chaos engineering, what happens is you basically inject failures, and within by simulating those failures, you are testing your entire resilience of your system. So that allows you to take actions so that your systems become more resilient for all the such failures in future, whether known or unknown future failures. So because of chaos engineering, you are able to plan your infrastructure, you're able to plan your applications, you're able to test it better, and so that it can withstand all such failures in future. Any recent industry use case that has been adopted? Can you give some details? So, so I think this industry is. I mean, DevOps is industry agnostic. Honestly, it's basically not necessarily for any particular vertical as such. So it's basically helping operations and development team cutting across all verticals of any organization. So the basic of DevOps remains same across all verticals or all industries as such. What certification we need to opt for if we are into QC? Uh, so if I understand your question, which certification we need to opt for if we are into QC? So I'm not sure whether if I understand the question right, but certifications, if you're talking about external certifications, I spoke about AWS. I mean, there are several industry certifications possible, but internally, if you look at when you say QC, it's quality control. If you mean by that, uh, obviously the development team and operations team need to have collaborate with each other, establish that communication channel so that both parties understand expectation from each other, and so long as there's a constant collaboration communication happening, I think internally you don't need kind of certification, but then externally if you're looking at certification, I spoke about which certifications are available in DevOps. Yeah, so external certifications are basically ones which I talked about. I mean, there are obviously AWS and because I keep repeating the same platform because these are the ones which are popular, AWS and Azure. Important test. And the next question is, how important is testing in DevOps? Absolutely important, because you need to have continuous integration, continuous development. You need to have testing which is, I would say, automated to the maximum possible extent. And the beauty is that when you have testing automated, it helps beautifully in your having achieving the continuous integration and continuous development. So for which you should look at platforms. In fact, Datamatics have developed a fantastic platform where we have combined robotics principles along with test automation, and we call that Datamatics True Test platform, which nothing but allows you to do test automation, and that's basically going to help you in phenomenal DevOps implementation in your organization. So, difference between SRE and DevOps engineer. I'm not sure what is SRE means. Uh, Perhaps let me get back to you on this as such. This question. Fair. So I think that we got all the questions covered up now. So obviously, in case of any further questions, you can write to me, or you can write business@datamatics.com. We will be more than happy to assist you in whatever we can. We have a practice on DevOps, and be sure that we will be happy to work with you in your DevOps initiative at whatever stage you are in. So thank you so much for all your time. I'm sure I've been able to make justice to your time invested while listening to me. Much appreciate, and looking forward to working with you in future. Thank you so much.